I did this to make millions, but most would consider it not sexy at all. So let's get right into it. Look, I've been in business for 10 years. I've helped thousands of people, made millions of dollars, been on the Inc. 5000 3 years in a row. There are a lot of things that you can do on the internet to make money. Some of them look really sexy on the outside, but all of them have this underlining thing to them that is truly unsexy, unpopular, and sometimes really boring. And the reason for that is there's a lot of marketers and gurus and people that make a living by selling you the perfect vehicle, the perfect way to make money, the perfect lifestyle, right? They go get the Ferrari and shoot a video in front of it, and they say, this is how you do it. But there's some of these situations and some of these strategies and tactics, including things that I teach, they are viable solutions and viable strategies that you can implement that can help you make money. And a lot of people have a lot of reasons why they want to make money, right? They might want to transition careers. They might want to get out of their 9-to-5 job. Maybe they're a serial entrepreneur and love starting multiple streams of income. It doesn't matter the background. There's a lot of reasons why people want to do this. It's sexy to be able to like work from home and travel and not have to really ever answer to a boss or expect a paycheck for the rest of your life. It's a great idea in the grand scheme, but most people fail when they go down the road of starting that business or learning that skill set. And the underlying reason is because it's actually truly not that sexy. But once you start to realize what I'm trying to tell you in this video of why it's not sexy, once you see it, realizing you can never unsee it again, then you could say, oh, so that's actually what's required. Awesome. The things that I want in my life are still important, like having time with my family, making more money, traveling, whatever it is. Those are still important. So now that I know that it actually requires this, let me do what I need to do to make sure that this thing happens so that I can have this lifestyle, right? Because anything worth having or working for requires actual work. And people generally don't like to hear that. But I'm here to tell you and break the news, yes, anything you do online, just like if you had a job or if you were in corporate, when you're climbing the corporate ladder and getting your promotions, or if you're in the military and you're climbing the ranks and getting more rank and making more money, getting more responsibility, there is also a ladder to success in entrepreneurship, okay? And that ladder to success sometimes requires doing the tedious, boring, daily methods of operation, as I like to call them, that most people don't realize or don't want to do. But you know what? That's why people like myself as an entrepreneur gets to live this lifestyle where I'm recording this video in a 7,000 square foot penthouse. 9 years ago, I was drunk at a bar with my friends, worrying about what girl I was dating or who she was with or when I was going to get to the gym. It was a completely different lifestyle back then. Now I have a family. I'm geared towards success. I'm geared towards helping people. I'm geared towards growing my influence and impacting other people and giving always first before I receive. I want to break down the actual steps and the things that you need to do to have success in anything you do, not just in business, but also in family, in your friendships, in your relationships, and show you the really unsexy side of this that truly, once you see it and you start to implement it, it will actually become sexy because you start to get so passionate about your journey and the things you're trying to accomplish that you now are willing to do the boring things because they're so meaningful and impactful to the direction that you're going in your life. You see what I'm saying here? So let me get right into it. There's one keyword that I want to write up here on this whiteboard that we're going to come back to, right? The keyword is this. It's called belief, okay? You have to have belief in anything you do, because if you don't have belief, the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, the thinking of, am I gonna fail? That's gonna settle in and it's gonna haunt you every day. When you go to bed at night, you're gonna be thinking about it. And the reason is because you don't believe, you haven't seen any results yet, okay? When I first started my business, I learned a skill where I was gonna be helping businesses all over the world get new customers. And I was gonna charge them a fee. And for the first 2.5, almost 3 months, I learned the skill set of doing that, but I made zero money. I actually spent about $15,000 of my own money, plus money that I didn't have, because I was like, this has gotta work. Like, I just went all in. I'm like, that this was gonna work. So I did everything that I could to see this thing through, but I didn't have the belief yet because I didn't see the money yet. That brings me to this word. There is a daily grind. Daily grind. There's a daily grind associated with establishing belief. So most of us, we want to have the lifestyle, we want to have the cars, we want to have the house, we want to have the thing right away. But if we don't have it today or tomorrow, we give up, or we put an arbitrary goal against an arbitrary timeline and say, hey, I need to hit $10,000 a month in 2 months. If I don't, my life's over and I quit. That's why you have less than 1% of the people in the world that actually live a fruitful life, that actually have the things that they want in their life. They have a successful marriage. They have successful, great relationships with their kids. They have a thriving business. So you have to understand that there's daily effort and work that you have to put in if you're going to get to where you're trying to go. And once you actually get there, you establish belief and you're like, I can do this. For the first 3 months when I started my company almost 10 years ago, like I said, I've spent $15,000, $7,000 of it was on credit card. I went into debt, but I was so convicted that this was gonna work. I had so much hope that this was gonna work that eventually it'll have a payoff. And guess what? After 3 months of doing it, it did have a payoff. I got a check for 4 or 5 grand from a client that I finally landed and got him results. And I was like, boom, I can do this. And then I just went on replicating that and scaling it up. I established the belief. Remember the keyword, the belief? I got belief. So if you can understand, there's a daily grind of you showing up every day with zero expectation of winning. Like, eat dirt and fail and just learn and be a student. If you can do that over a long period of time, it will have a compounding effect to establishing belief that you can do this. And again, this goes for anything in life. So 2 important models that I want to share with you that have really helped me along this journey in this process. The first one is a balance between 2 things, and I'll write it here. Chaos and rigidity. And I hope I spelt that right. That says rigidity, okay? So chaos and rigidity is what you're gonna be going through the entire time you're doing anything in life. Building a business, your family, I don't care what it is. Things are gonna feel super chaotic at times. You're like, oh my gosh, I wanna pull my hair out. I don't know, I'm doing way too much. Things aren't going really smooth. Like, this is crazy. I need to back off the pedal a little bit. So then you back off the pedal and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm being like really rigid right now. I'm not taking enough action. Deals aren't coming through. I'm not making the money I want to make. I'm not establishing the success that I want. I'm being too rigid. I need to take more action. So you start to go back towards chaos, right? But there's a balance between the 2. So if I was to draw this in a model, it would look something like this. It's a straight arrow right here, okay? So this straight arrow, this represents your goal. Let's say your goal is to do, $250K a year. Okay, $250K a year, to be honest, is the minimum. In this economy, with everything going on, if you're not making $250K, you're in trouble, to be honest with you, okay? And I can make a whole other video about that conversation. But let's say $250K is the minimum you wanna make in a year, okay? So this is a 12-month timeline, okay? All these lines represent 1 month. It might not be 12, but let's pretend there's 12. Chaos rigidity looks like this, all right? You start off here. You're spiraling, boom, boom, chaos, rigid, chaos, rigid. You're going back and forth, and then look what happens. You level off, all right? Anything you do in life, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna feel super chaotic, and you're gonna be like, whoa, I need to back off the gas pedal. And then you're gonna be super rigid. You'll be like, dude, money's not coming in. I'm not taking enough action. I'm not happy with these results. I need to take more action. Boom. You go back up and you're like, oh, this is starting to feel a little chaotic again. I need to go back down. Boom, rigid, chaos. All the way down, you're gonna experience this. So I show you this because if you're saying, Doug, I wanna make $1 million in a year, or Doug, I wanna make it to my 25th wedding anniversary, or Doug, I want to walk my daughter down the aisle when she gets married, you're going to have to experience chaos and rigidity. All right? This is what it's going to look like no matter what the goal is. So, but what's great about chaos and rigidity is as you get older, you build wisdom, you build experience. right? So every time you hit one of these points between chaos and rigidity, what is this? It's a reference point. And what are you doing? You're looking back and saying, hey, I saw this problem before. I know how to fix it faster. Or, hey, I felt this resistance before. I know how to fix it. So you don't go far down the rabbit hole, you come back. It's kind of like you buying a used car and buying it literally 200% over fair value market. And a week later, your friend tells you, hey, you just got scammed. You're like, oh crap, I can't get out of this deal. I'll just never do that again. All right, that's what happens. You build experience. Or the stove is hot and you're like, hey, the stove's hot. I wonder what it feels like. You go touch it. Ouch, that hurt. I'm never gonna do that again, right? These are reference points in life. But guess what? What's interesting about chaos rigidity, the goal here is $250K a year. Boom, you hit it. Congratulations, by the way. Here's the next path, at least on your financial journey. Let's draw another line. Now you're saying, hey, I want to hit $1 million a year. Amazing. Well, guess what? You're at $250K here. Okay, you just hit the 250 right here, right? Now what's going to happen? Same thing. Same exact thing. Because you've never had $1 million in a year before. You know what it's like to hit 250, which is a whole different ball game. $1 million a year is way different. 10 million a year is a way different ball game. 100 million a year is another different ball game. You're always going to be going through a path of chaos and rigidity in everything you do, but the longer you go, the easier it goes. What's beautiful about this is, you ever heard the story of how millionaires that have created all this wealth, how many stories have we heard about them losing all their money? Things happen, bad deal, economy destroys them, all their money goes away. And then a few months later, they have it all back. Why? Because they have the experience. They know how to make it. So once you've made it, you know how to replicate it. And that's the point of being a repeat winner and not a one-act wonder. This model has helped me in so many different things in my life, I can't even tell you. It's when you understand that the work's involved, the daily grind, the chaos and rigidity, the belief, getting closer to belief gets a lot easier. And here's the last one I want to show you. There's 2 ways that you can get there to hitting your goal: doing the daily grind, the daily work, which I already said, balancing chaos and rigidity. And the third thing is by taking the stairs and not the elevator. Okay? Elevators are fun, they're easy. So you get into that elevator on the first floor, you hit a button, and now you're at the 50th floor. In this penthouse, I get in my elevator, I have a special key, I hit 7th floor, and boom, I'm here. But that required almost no effort. I certainly put in a lot of effort over the last 10 years to be able to take that elevator to get to this penthouse, which I'll get into in a minute. But if you're just starting out, to this model specifically, taking the stairs is a way better model. It looks like this, okay? Versus just going straight like this. The reason why the stairs is a better model is because every little step you take is a goal. So again, if you want to hit the 250 is the goal, right? Well, what are these steps? These steps might be 25K, all the way up, right? When you take the step, you hit the goal, 25 grand a month. Amazing. How do we keep it? The step here forces you to learn the processes, look back and reflect, study the systems, the processes, the technology, your operations on what you did to establish that success, and repeat it so you can keep it. Because you're not going to hit 250 by just making 25K and losing 25K. It's about making the 25K, keeping it, and then making another 25K, and so on and so forth. Okay? So you take these steps until you hit your goal, and then boom, now you have the skills to get here. It took you longer instead of taking the elevator. How many stories have you heard of people hitting the lottery, $100 million, and then a couple years later they're broke? Happens all the time. Athletes. Shaquille O'Neal posted a video, made his first $1 million, bought 2 cars, bought 2 houses, and was broke in a month. Okay? You took the elevator, you didn't take the stairs. You have to get proper counsel, you have to get the right mentors, get the right coach, in a lot of these situations, get the right advice. Okay, and a lot of people take bad advice from bad people, and that's why they get scammed and lose money. It's not until you see the unsexy things that's required where you're like, oh, that's what it is. This is what it is. This is what most gurus aren't gonna tell you. And I'm gonna tell you because I don't need your money. I'm good. Look at where I'm at, right? I would love to help you, but I don't need to because I've already made it. I'm here just to share with you how I got to where I'm at. Take the stairs. Don't take the elevator. I've earned the right to take the elevator to a certain point, and that brings me to my final point here before we cut out. Let's say you took the stairs, you hit the goal of $1 million. Let's say you lose it all, boom, you're back at 0. You already know what it takes to do the $1 million, right? So do you have to go through the process of necessarily taking the stairs, so to speak? No, you can actually take the elevator, and that's what a lot of successful people, I just said millionaires, do, because they've already acquired the skills, they know what it takes, and they just go do it again. You can never take away those skills or experience from them again. So that's what's required. That is the unsexy thing that I've been able to do millions that most people aren't going to tell you. And yes, there's a lot of other things happen to make more content, but I think these are the most important things. You got to establish belief that it'll work. You got to establish belief that you can do it and achieve the goal. And you do that by realizing that there's a daily grind that goes into it. All right. And understand that you're going to have to balance chaos and rigidity in anything that you do. It's always going to be like that. The goal is going to change, right? And the last thing is understanding that you got to take the stairs. Don't try to take the elevator, right? You follow these simple principles, I can almost guarantee you can achieve anything you want in life, all right? Hey, if you want to learn more about how the technical aspects and the businesses that I've been able to do and launch and scale at a high level, I'm going to hold some training this week. There should be a link in the description of this video. I'll show you what I did and actually give you tangible skills to go out in the marketplace and create your own economy. Go register for that class. And if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Got videos coming out all the time. Love to see you on the next video. Hey, it's Douglas James. Go subscribe and hey, make it a great day.